What if I told you that some of the deepest secrets of the universe, of life and death, weren't buried in some lost text, but were actually hidden in plain sight, encoded in the art of ancient Egypt? Well, today, that's exactly what we're doing. We are unlocking Egypt's guide to the afterlife, and it's not just about what happens when you die. It's about how to break the cycle of reincarnation for good.
So, here's our game plan. First, we're going to treat these ancient texts like what they are, an instruction manual. Then, we have to talk about the nature of reality itself, because it's probably not what you think it is. From there, we'll dive into the astral afterlife, face the ultimate spiritual test symbolized by the scales of Anubis, and finally, put all the pieces together to understand how you can break the cycle.
All right, first things first. We have to kind of forget everything we learned about Egyptian mythology from the movies, because this isn't just a collection of cool stories about gods with animal heads. It's a profound, detailed set of instructions for your soul.
And this is the central idea, the big hook that got me. The possibility that these ancient people weren't just prepping for a journey into the afterlife, but were actually leaving behind a roadmap for how to ascend beyond it, to a higher plane of consciousness and, not have to come back.
In this image right here, this is our key. We've all seen it. The scales of Anubis, the heart on one side, a feather on the other. But what if it's not literal? What if it's a powerful metaphor? A symbolic map of a process of spiritual purification that every single one of us has to go through. But before we can even begin to follow that map into the afterlife, we first have to get a handle on the terrain of this life. And according to this ancient wisdom, our everyday reality is not quite what it seems. In fact, it's something else entirely. To understand this, we need a compass, and that compass is the principle of as above, so below. It just means the big stuff is reflected in the small stuff. And the perfect example? Sleep. Think about it. Every night, your consciousness kind of retreats from the physical world and journeys into this inner realm of dreams. In a way, sleep is like a practice run for death. It's a smaller version of that great departure.
Okay, this is a super important distinction to make. Your brain, that's the hardware. It's the biological computer that's processing all the raw data from your senses. But your mind, your consciousness, that's you. You're the user, the one observing the simulation the brain is running. You are not your brain. You are the one using it.
So if the brain is the hardware, what does that make reality? Well, it means that everything you experience, every sight, every sound, every feeling, is an interpretation. It's a simulation generated inside you by your body's technology. Your reality is an internal show, and you have a front row seat.
Now, this completely changes how we look at death. See, it's not a journey to some far-off land. It's simply the moment the body's reality generator shuts down. The simulation stops. You don't go anywhere. A veil is just lifted, and you get to see what was behind the curtain the whole time.
So, the big question is, once that physical simulation ends, where does your consciousness, the real you, find itself? Well, this brings us to the next leg of the journey, the astral plane.
So, what is the astral plane? The easiest way to think of it is as a realm of pure imagination. It's a world literally woven from the thoughts, the memories, the desires, and the dreams of all of humanity. It looks and feels just like our world. It's a non-physical echo, and it's where your consciousness wakes up right after death.
And once you're there, you enter a state they called karma loka. Now, this is important. This is not a place of judgment. There's no one there pointing a finger at you. It's a process of purification. The world you experience in karma loka is a direct reflection of your own inner state. It's like being in a room made of mirrors.
Because you see, you can't take your house or your car with you, but you do take the entire contents of your inner world. All of it. Your thoughts, your fears, your deepest beliefs, your desires, your habits, and especially your emotional attachments. That's the luggage you're carrying into the astral.
So how does this purification thing actually work? Well, imagine this. All your earthly cravings and attachments, they all rise up. They demand to be satisfied. But here's the catch. You don't have a physical body anymore, so they can't be fulfilled. And because they're being starved of gratification, these desires slowly start to weaken, to burn out, and eventually, they just fade away. The soul gets cleansed. And of course, the stronger the attachment, the longer that fire takes to burn out.
And this whole process of purification, this burning away of desire, brings us right back to where we started, back to the scales of Anubis. Now that we understand the journey, we can finally crack the code of this incredible symbol.
This is it,
This is the question at the very center of the Egyptian mysteries. It's the ultimate test of the soul. Your entire journey, both in this life and the next, it all comes down to this one thing. What is the weight of your heart?
And really, there are two possible outcomes. You can have a heavy heart, one that's weighed down by addictions, ego, fear, and all those attachments to material things. Or you can have a light heart, one that's as light as that feather of truth. A heart defined by wisdom, by detachment, and by real inner peace.
Now, let's be really clear about something. This is not a call to go live in a cave and renounce the world. Not at all. The key is not to abandon material things, but to stop anchoring your identity, your soul, to them. The idea is simple. Don't let your possessions possess you.
Okay, here we are, the final part of the journey. We're at the ultimate destination, achieving spiritual freedom. We're about to get the key to breaking that cycle of reincarnation once and for all.
You know, the logic behind reincarnation, when you look at it this way, is actually incredibly simple, but so profound. If your heart is heavy with desire for the physical world, well, after your time in the astral, where do you think it's going to want to go? Back to the only place those desires can be fulfilled. And that longing, that pull, that is the engine of reincarnation.
But what about the other path? For a soul that has done the work, that has shed its attachments and become light as a feather, the journey continues upward. It ascends to what's called the mental plane, a state of pure, blissful, creative thought. It's what many traditions might call heaven or Devachan. It's the soul's true home.
So you see, this ancient Egyptian wisdom isn't just about the afterlife. It's a practical guide for this life. The work has to be done here and now. It's about consciously letting go of attachments, mastering your inner emotional world, connecting with something higher than yourself, and always choosing to align with truth over illusion.
Because in the end, when you really get down to it, these are the only treasures that actually last. It's not about what you owned, but about who you became. It's not about what you gathered, but about the wisdom and understanding you cultivated along the way.
And so, we're left with the very same question that the scales of Anubis have been asking for thousands of years. If your inner world is the only thing you truly, truly possess, the only thing you get to keep, how are you tending to that sacred ground? It's a question worth a lifetime of thought, don't you think?